and stuff in Brookings?
They should make it easier.
Is he?
It does make sense.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really.
Lines and everything, so
Love
they're
lawyers.
gonna start in July.
Awesome. Told you.
I'll be contacting you.
That's great.
Because we're billed quarterly,
Lawyers.
Makes it all worth it.
we should change that to monthly.
Kansas State Run.
It's because we bill quarterly,
Yeah.
it's one period
Wow.
of wait time.
Oh, yeah, that's,
So if we billed monthly, it'd be a month wait. But because we bill quarterly, we have to wait 3 months.
well, here's a suggestion. I don't know what the guys got to do to change it. If they won't sign a regular rental agreement, it's monthly.
Just a multi-purpose room off
You know, just tell them, you owe me every month. And if you're late, you got 15 days to
Have
get your
banquets
money
and
out.
stuff without taking the chairs down.
Brought
Well,
that
we're
up the
pretty sure
flagpole.
that the hangar rent document was, I mean, it was obviously was adopted off of either another city or possibly Zeek website or, I mean, it's, we know that it's,
Well, and then MnDOT Aviation got their rules, their fingers in on that
Dean
stuff.
did talk to them too, so, yeah, that was the first call he made,
Yeah.
so, is them. Because we have another party that's renting from Tyler right now that wants to come over this way too.
Yeah, it's right off the.
Well, I'd like to get as many as we can get.
And two of them they're using our drive hangar. They're both on the east side.
On the storage ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi Kurt.
Hello.
How are
Buddy
you?
Kurt?
Good. Hello.
Great. Thanks. I'm just sitting here in PA for a while.
You know, there was some, I forgot. Trailer park.
Oh, yes, I know, I got that in my
You got
email
those,
too.
you got those
that
pictures I
guy's-
sent?
Oh,
Yeah, I sent you a bunch of pictures.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a,
What a mess.
well, I'm hoping that she said no.
Well, maybe at the next time we can talk about that.
Yeah.
Diane, are we getting anywhere on that
No, I,
planning commission public hearing
I have 4 committed, so they better show
for
up
the 3rd?
on the 3rd.
Good,
So, yeah, I
good, good, good.
put the advertisement and sent the notices out today, so.
I'll be there, but it doesn't matter.
I didn't see anything on the agenda about the surplus equipment at the liquor store. Is that gonna be discussed tonight? The glasses and
I
clocks
asked her
and all that?
about that, if it should be put on there, and she didn't understand what it was supposed to.
I can ask.
I just happened to be thinking about that.
Put some bumpers over there.
We're gonna up the fine on exhibition driving, so.
Just fix a deer.
I told Ken I need a bumper at the end of our door, coming down my ramp. Smack the door.
We have roll bars.
Just a bumper at the end of the door, so I smack it, I can. Just a
Well,
dent
stop doing that.
it. Don't move.
Just come over and knock on the door.
You got power assist on that thing?
No, you come down that ramp though, if you got something in your hand and one
She'll
time I
come
was
in,
like,
sometimes you'll have dualies
not a
on
good
that.
thing.
In the wintertime for traction.
Okay.
No. Debbie leaves Thursday for California for a few days.
Okay, one of the kids.
Oh, my.
Wow.
Me too.
That's pretty nice. Leaving this.
One stop. Oh, I will see it. Supposed to. Then you gotta do like
Did you understand that email?
Yes.
Carpet cleaning invoice on it?
Yep.
Because I don't see why the city shouldn't recoup some of their money from their machine. I mean, I'd have to rent one from ASN.
Yes, I did a journal entry, $75 to the city and then.
So on my next,
Yeah.
I'll just add that on
Yeah,
there, but
I got that.
you okay with that?
Yep.
Because I thought there's no reason why the city shouldn't recoup some of their money.
Yes, no, that's a good idea. I should probably add that in here, which we're gonna have like amendments to this fee schedule because you know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be trial and error, things you learn and things you know.
Right.
Was there a copy of that schedule made public to everybody? It doesn't do much good to have a public hearing if the public wasn't privy to what was in it.
Well,
I'll just think of that now. I should have asked you
yeah,
earlier.
but what was, something was made public to them?
Well, there was a public hearing notice,
Yeah,
that there was a
that
public
they could
hearing
come
regarding
investigate.
it.
Yeah,
And then
But
the
is
fees
there-
would be given to them
Yep.
at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't actually printed or put out in print?
That would take 3 pages.
yeah.
Okay, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Tracy City Council for Monday, June 12th, 2017. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation. Pastor?
Heavenly Father, we pray for a good meeting tonight. We pray, Heavenly Father, you would guide the discussion and any decisions that need to be made. We pray, Father, for wisdom in making appointments to the various boards. We pray for the waste water project, Lord, that could come together in a timely fashion. We think of the construction going on in town. We pray that you'd help the residents affected to be patient. We pray that also might be finished in a timely manner. We thank you for these who serve our community, and we think also of our EMS personnel as well. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have the minutes from our meeting on May 22nd. Do we have any questions or comments about those? For both the working meeting and our regular meeting?
I don't know if any would make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is approval of the agenda. We have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
We do, Mr. Mayor, under 9D, the DA, the appointment, we needed to add Matt Knockmoose to that.
Okay.
Under 9G, petition for local improvement, agreement of assessments and waiver of irregularity and appeal. That is regarding the hospice house, and that was on your
Desk.
desk. Yep. We have 9H, Phase 3 information with Chris Larson. And then we have 9I, we call for a closed session to discuss EDA contract with Marshall Chamber of Commerce.
The only thing other I have is, we didn't talk about it in the oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Got one more, I'm sorry. We got 11F, another resolution for change order 3. 1 and 2 was on there, but 3 was not.
Somewhere on here, I don't know where we could put it, but I'd like to just get an update on the surplus liquor store items. I should have asked that at the
Is there
pre-meeting, but I
unfinished
didn't,
business?
but maybe in unfinished we could put that.
E.
13E.
There's one correction too, I see under 9A, it should be a storm sewer relocation. It's got water line.
That would have been my error, I'm sorry about that.
What is that?
9A should be storm sewer.
Instead of water.
Oh.
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda with those changes.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 6 is the public comment. Is anybody here from the public that'd like to comment on something that's not on the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Public hearing is at 6:45. Okay, let's go to, and there's no reports, let's go to petitions, requests, and communications. We have 9A, Rick and Jamie Johnson about the storm sewer line relocation.
Rick is here.
Hi, Rick.
Can you come up here?
Yep.
I'm Rick. I live on 701 4th Street down where we started the infrastructure project down there. My wife and I moved to town here, 2010 I believe it was. When we looked at that house, the first thing I said to her was, perfect house to add a garage on to, because it's very simple. And she said it sounds good. Basically, long story short, we bought the house in 2012. I applied for a permit to put the garage on, and everything was going smooth. And I think it was the night before I was going to dig footings. It was that Shane had called me. Thank God he called. And there was a storm sewer that ran right through where I was going to be putting one of the footings. So that pretty much put a nix on the garage. And then it was about 2013 or 14, the city started talking about the infrastructure improvements down there. And I noticed in all the discussion was the talk of removing stuff off of people's property and right-of-ways. And I assumed during all the updates that we were getting in the mail over the next 2 years that this sewer project was going to include this line that runs through my property. So I just waited until now, and it was about April, I suppose. I was pretty excited when the whole thing passed and everything, because I looked at it as, yes, my taxes are going to go up, but I'm gaining something because I thought this would be moved and I would get my property back, put my garage on. It was this spring when I ran into the engineer here just down the street, and he was saying that that was not the case, that that wasn't going to be removed. And I can tell you my jaw dropped. I just was, I was really, really looking forward to this garage. Really looking forward to it. And I planned on even putting footings in this spring, or this fall. That was how much I was looking forward to it. Now I don't think that's going to be the case. But if I can get the pipe rerouted, I can fit a garage onto my property. The way it sits right now, it's the only feasible way to put a garage on my property would be to have the driveway take up the entire rest of the property, which it just wouldn't work. So I'm here just to propose that through this whole project that we can hopefully remove that so I can add my garage on. The benefits of obviously adding the garage on is it's gonna bring tax value to my house. I've done nothing but improve that house since I've moved there. We put new siding, new garage, or new windows, new roof. The inside has completely been updated. And we'd like to stay here. That's another thing too. My wife and I plan on staying here for the next 10 or 15 years, at least until we retire. It could be 2025. We don't know for sure, but I'm not gonna stay there without a garage. I'm not that type of person. I gotta have a garage. So if it doesn't happen, then I guess I'll have to figure out some other alternative, but I'd really like to get it moved. I just feel this is the time to do it, while we got the rest of it ripped up. And I'm hoping that, we can come to some sort of resolution on the project.
Okay.
Anything else?
And we have a cost estimate here about how much it would cost. I don't know whether you know anything about that at all, Rick?
Not yet, no.
What we got was $60,000 minus, what was it, the
About 5,000 for the
catch basin?
catch basin.
So to move the line would be about $55,000. Or, yeah,
To move it.
yeah. And so I take it when you bought the property, you had no idea it was underneath there?
No, I did not. No, I would have never, no, as much as I like where I live, I would have never even considered the project.
What was the easement? Because
The former, or a former, property owner that owned it, did have an easement with the city of Tracy that storm sewer line is connected to that catch basin in the backyard, and that it's been in existence for, I don't know.
and my
obviously
property
they
law
failed
is
to
sketchy,
tell.
but don't easements go with the property?
Yes, they do, and they obviously failed to tell him that, so,
Oh,
I'm guessing, is what he's telling us, I
Yes.
think, so.
Yes. I don't want to name names, but I just probably picked the wrong realtor. I just say that.
What is the, Shane, would be the procedure to secure the easement from the adjoining property owner? How much time would it take, or?
Chris, by the way, I think you meant Andy. Answer. Obviously, it depends on if they're willing to do it or not. If they're willing to do it, you know, maybe a couple weeks, Matt should probably draft something up and then sign it and record it. If they're not in agreement, then I don't know.
I am willing. I haven't talked to the neighbor about this yet. I kind of figured we'd wait till this was done first. But I know how big I want to build my garage. I kind of have an idea of what you guys are thinking on how to reroute it, because there's really only one way to go. This is what I do for a living also. So I had thought about offering to whatever the easement has to be, buying that if I have to buy some of that lot where the easement is, so at least he's getting reimbursed for some of that, to a point if that becomes an issue. The other thing is also is I'm not asking for any kind of landscaping to be done. I'm not asking for any, probably there's gonna be concrete that's gonna have to be pulled up. I'm not asking for anything to be replaced. All of that I will do. I'm not, because I'm gonna do it anyway. I think, well, I've talked to you about even the front yard, tearing the sidewalk out, I don't want to put back in. Things like that, I'm willing to do on my own. So if that, I don't know if that affects any of the costs, but probably very minimal, but.
Did we?
In terms of like the pipe removal instead of sand filling, especially if you could find dirt to refill, we could remove and save some money that way.
But it still, if you're willing to do the legwork with your neighbor, Rick, and get going on the easement.
I mean, there's a point I'm gonna reach, you know, I'm not gonna go and give him $20,000.
No.
Or something, but if he needs $1,000 or a couple $1,000, because it's a part of the property that he doesn't use, and in all practicality, the house would never be added on that way anyway, because his garage is on that side. But that's, that's also his property too.
Return it to the way it was before type thing.
Yeah.
But nothing can happen until that happens, if I understand right.
No, pipe's too big.
I wish I would have known, like I said, that this pipe, I wish I could have brought this up 2 years ago, I would have. I just, like I say, when I was getting these letters in the mail, keeping with all the updates, which are great, I really thought this was included in it, mostly because I knew that the city was already aware that I had this, I'd already applied for a permit at one time for this. I mean, the city was already well aware that this pipe exists there, and that the homeowner there had, wanted something to do with it. That's why I figured that was included on the rest of them kind of getting moved.
And early on, before we knew that the pipe was in good condition, and except for that catch basin, it wasn't really in need of replacement. We were assuming that it was going to need to be replaced, and at that time we could have changed the alignment upstream a little bit and then more easily worked around. But since the rest of it is staying, our tie-in points, we're stuck here, and then we have to do this jog where if we were replacing the whole thing, we could have done something a little more gradual, and it wouldn't have been 60,000, but wouldn't have been incrementally 60,000 more, but we would have been replacing that whole line or rerouting it to the right of way. But since there was an easement and it was good in condition, that's why it was being proposed to stay.
Sure.
Well, how much, for your stub in for the current rework you're doing in that street, if he's able to get an easement, what do they need for time frame to stub that in for him? I mean,
And then if he did the rest of the work, you mean
Right.
privately? God, that probably wouldn't be much, because like you said earlier, we're already going to just about the curb.
We're going
beyond the curb, so not much more to have a stub available. We would have to adjust the alignment though.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be best if they're going to be in this 4th Street area for a few weeks yet.
That's what I'm looking at as a
Yeah.
time frame. So in a perfect world, by Friday, Rick gets the easement. If he gets a hold of you Monday, you'll know where to put the stub in, then we can worry about the mechanics of the rest of it down the road.
Yeah.
If that makes,
They might be making that connection later this week. They're,
To the existing,
yes,
okay.
they're gonna be making those connections very soon here.
on the storm sewer side.
This storm sanitary, both of those.
That whole
because
intersection.
They're both really critical to continuing the project beyond this point. So they'll be happening soon. I don't know the exact date, but very soon.
And the cost of running a stub that may or may not be used would be how much? Is-
Yeah,
And I think the best way to do it would be to just go with the existing alignment and put a structure there, and then you could divert it from that point. It's,
instead of changing the angle into the manhole that's gonna be in the street, right? So it's coming in, into the street at a bit of a skew.
Yep,
There's a manhole here, so we'd be, what Andy's saying is you could put the structure behind the curb and then divert. Otherwise, if we're planning ahead,
'cause
and Andy'd have to do it all at once, but you could change this angle and then come straight down. But then you'd have to do everything right away to be able to keep that storm sewer live upstream.
And putting a connection in the stub really isn't an option,
yeah,
because
okay.
3 48-inch pipes
Would fit in the
right
structure.
next to each other. and
Yeah,
I thought they were about that big.
yeah. Yeah, if this was a 15-inch pipe, I don't think there'd be much of a discussion, but, yeah, the 48 really drives up the price.
And it's a 48 inch to that catch basin in that backyard back there too?
Yep.
It has to stay 48 inch. It does, huh? I'm just saying, I've lived there 7 years, and I've never once seen any drop of water in that backyard back there, never once.
Because it's 48.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's why it has to stay 48, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's 48-inch
Yeah.
upstream coming down North Street.
yeah,
I have seen it blowing out of the road at Circle Drive though. at that
Yeah.
one point. So it's
Oh,
come,
yeah.
it's come close, but
yeah,
Yeah.
it's right at the edge.
well, yeah.
So, yeah, timing is probably the biggest. I mean, like Andy said, we could drop the structure on and reroute it later. For now, we could just connect in. We'll be beyond the right of way, or beyond the curb, in the right of way still. And that would be far enough north to be still out of his way.
The connection is north of his property.
Okay.
But it goes through his property very shortly after that.
Gotcha.
Is that what that catch basin is, right next to the corner of my driveway there? That manhole, that's right there? Yeah, that's right on my property line, yep, or
Okay.
just a foot on the other side of my property. And that's the thing too, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. If we can't move it, I wanna put a 30-foot garage on. I don't wanna go any shorter than that, 30 foot to the north. And the reason why is because I have I'm on the hill. And if I have to go shorter than that, that means I gotta tear out a ton of landscaping and trees. That's gonna cost me probably $20,000 to put back together. Well, I'm not gonna build a $100,000 garage. So if it can't get put, right now there's that, wherever the easement is, from my understanding, I can't do anything 12 feet each way from that line. Remember when you painted that line in my driveway? That's what you were kinda explaining to me, right? So if I can't get, when you reroute it, if I can't get beyond that 12 foot past my property line, if that can't happen, then there's no sense having the discussion. Because I don't, I mean, I'd like it for, I guess when I go to sell my house, I'd like the next homeowner not to have to deal with it, but, I just think this is the time to fix it if we can't. I know it's gonna cost a lot more money down the road.
I think instead of interrupting because we had the public comment period at 6:45. Can we, our public hearing, can we just come to a consensus about what to do? I mean, part of the dilemma is expending this money on someone's private property. I mean, and I understand the position that you're in, because the decisions we make obviously set precedents, then others can come in and say, because it's quite a bit of money for that. So I think we need to come to a consensus as to what to do. I mean, we know the particulars, If the route to go is trying to get, working with your neighbor and see if we can do something else. I mean, I don't know what anybody else's thoughts are.
I think that's the only option right now. If you can't give a variance over where that storm sewer line's to build around. So in order to reroute it, he has to have that easement. So that right now is the big hiccup, and then whatever we can do after that, I mean, if you can't get an easement, then.
Without the easement, I wouldn't be here anyway.
Right.
Like I say, it's not gonna, it wouldn't be feasible, and like, you know, like I say, then I'll have to think of.
Well, can we put this,
Have you
can,
talked to him at all?
I have not. I have not tried to catch him this weekend when I was around, but I never seen, he's tough to catch. But, I'll reach out to him. Yeah, I've talked to him a couple times, was all, since he's moved in, but,
well, can we just move it to the agenda for the next meeting, and in the meantime, have you get a hold of your neighbor and talk to him, and if you can get that easement or purchase that piece of property from him, and then we can discuss
Right.
what we can do from
I'm gonna
there.
hopefully try to get it, I'd rather do it that way, rather, you know.
Right.
Purchase
Well, the only
property
other
is
thing
gonna
that we
cost a
can
lot more
do-
money too, just in
Right.
title work and all
Right.
that stuff.
But that
Right,
connection, where it's gonna suit hooking up to the existing or allow him to go into it type thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you'd probably just drop it on whether
Yeah.
it was right now or if it was a year from now.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. All right.
so put that in place where it could be moved,
Yes, but we wouldn't have to do that until the work was actually done.
okay?
It could proceed as designed right now.
Yes.
How
we
far
could
to the north was that?
If you want to.
Yeah, we'll look, yeah.
Okay,
I'd just like to know, because if, like I say, if it's gonna be before the maple tree, then it's not far enough, and there's no sense having the discussion anyway. Like I say, I'm gonna go all the way to the edge of my property with the garage, so I have to, for it to work.
Yeah, we can table it until the
Yeah.
next
then in the
meeting until
meantime, can
you
you
find
talk
out
to
more
your
information
neighbor
about
and
your
then?
neighbor.
Yeah, I
Yep,
will.
okay.
Yep, I'll get a hold of him.
All right?
Perfect.
Well, thank you
Good.
for coming.
We want to work with you, Rick, hopefully we can get it worked out.
Yep, thanks for
Thank
listening.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's call for the public hearing. We have a public hearing about adopting the city fee schedule. Madonna, would you like to just give a brief overview as to what we're doing here?
Since probably about January, the office staff and I have been going through and coming up with ideas with our department heads and input of what kind of things, comparing what other cities charge for services that city offers in each different department. And we have come up with what we consider to be the 2017 fee schedule. Our purpose of the public hearing was because we need to pass a resolution that takes out in all of our city ordinances, there's a specific dollar amount that is in the ordinance that we have to remove that dollar amount and put per fee schedule annually, and then it would be easier to adjust prices as we felt necessary.
Okay. Anybody here, thank you, anybody here from the public want to be heard on the fee schedule proposal that we have? Okay. We'll close that then and refer this back to the councils. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Are there specific fees that were added that weren't addressed in ordinance before?
Yes.
Are they weren't identified on the
On the fee schedule?
on the fee schedule I received, they weren't identified as this is a new fee, that's a new fee. I would like to know what they were and discuss them. The reason I'm going through it, and it seemed to me there was a lot of repetition, but then I'd find something different. And the couple that I looked at, I couldn't find any reference back to an ordinance.
Okay.
So I'd like to know what all the new additions were and the thought processes behind them, because whether we realize it or not, when we generate a fee for something, that's nothing more than another word for a tax. So we're adding a tax without the members of the council knowing exactly what they were, how they added. So that's my input. I'd like to know more about what they were and what ones were changed, or the reasoning behind the changes.
The other reason I just want to add, to Tony, just for your information, like, not saying that you don't already know this, but I'm sure you do, is the more fees that we charge for services for what we actually do, the less tax that's going to have to be levied.
That's true.
So say for instance, a fine for the dog being impounded, okay? Just over and abroad, you know. I'm suggesting that currently right now, we've been charging $22 a day for that animal to be impounded.
Right.
And the animal impound person that owns the lot or whatever charges us $22. We're not collecting any service whatsoever for our police officers.
And that's one of those are already published. Do you know that there was going to be a penalty for it type thing? And I'm fine. I understand the logic behind that, and it hasn't been addressed, and those numbers are okay. I'm thinking more about some new ones where you said you got creative about charging fees. I'd like to know what those were, what was not specifically addressed in an ordinance prior.
Yeah, we can do that. One of them, I'll tell you, just as an example, most all of them are based on something that we found in an ordinance or whatever, but one of them that I do know that is on here that we came up with is notary services.
Yeah.
We've never charged for notary
No,
services.
and I've seen that one too, and that's
That's the one I was thinking of.
I mean, you go to the bank and
Now
they're
you
gonna
gotta pay
charge you
for
for
it.
it. You go anywhere else and they're gonna charge you.
no.
So
And at
they
one time they
charge
charged in the city too, way back when. Yeah, way back.
Well,
It's
I was gonna say in my employment, there was no existence.
this was
of a
back in
fee
the
schedule.
70s. So it was like $3.
So we charge for that, so that's fine,
Yeah.
That was just an example, I mean, that I can come up with, but I certainly can identify them. if
I
you-
was more concerned with the when we have to go in and cut somebody's grass. I just don't think we charge enough. I mean.
No, we don't.
We charge $50, it's nothing. We should be charging $200-300. If we gotta go in and cut somebody's grass that's this tall, we should be charging for it.
I
We should-
updated that to $200.
Good, thank you. And that's what I was gonna ask. So what are those,
Yeah.
that's probably, it's a good start, but
Well,
yeah.
that's what I'm
Right,
getting at. I mean, I
right.
don't know, I mean, how you want me to do it. Do you just want me to identify the new things that I added? Because that was not something new. That would have been something that would have been in the ordinance that said $50 before. I changed it to.
But is-
to
Maybe it's me, because I got my numbers mixed up on this, but it looked like there was almost 20 pages in that fee schedule, or was
There
it?
is.
Okay,
There is. And we did it by department. And that's why when you see a lot of repeat, that is what you see. You'll see a lot of repeat. So like, say for instance, if somebody has an NSF check in the liquor store, we have a fee in the liquor store to know, the liquor store knows that they gotta charge $30 for an
Right.
NSF check. The same charge is in administration, the same charge is in.
but, okay, and that's what I'm trying to simplify the document. The city as an entity on a non-sufficient fund check charges $30 per check.
Okay.
You could shorten your paperwork up and make it easier for people who have bad eyes like me to read it through.
Tony, I'll be honest with you, I looked at so many different
No,
cities, and that's how theirs was, and that's how I laid it out.
Yeah,
I mean, it was in I mean, I just compared others, and that's how I did it.
if you could, yeah, identify some of the new ones that were added so we can discuss them, and this doesn't have to be acted on today, does it?
No.
Okay.
So you're asking if we could just maybe highlight in yellow what the new ones are?
Right. Not a price change, something that was, if something was already in the ordinance that had a fee, fine, penalty, whatever, that's fine. But it's, because we talked about raising them for years, but anything new, like, and I'll use your notary as an example. That's one of the newest, those things.
Yep.
And then, so they can figure out
Yep.
I think we can identify the thought process behind most of it. If
Yep.
there needs discussion, then we can discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think any of us would be opposed, I mean, we need to increase our fees, particularly in a lot of areas.
Yeah. I mean, and that's That's my thought process on it.
And for me with the format, I mean, obviously it's nicer if it's less than 22 pages, but if it turns out to be 22 pages, at least the information's on it.
Right.
So you got a reference to say, well, here's what it is, if
I
you
was
wanna
gonna
look
say-
at it.
Because all the city codes are on here and everything. I mean, it's not just, I mean, it's everything in one. Is what, we put the violations in here and everything.
Right.
So as an example, Madonna, like a notary, if you're gonna notarize a signature, it's for the document,
Yep,
not how many signatures are on the document, it's
Correct.
for that document.
correct.
Okay.
Yep. And been one of the new ones on the very top, accept credit card over the phone. So it costs us $5 if we accept, the credit card over the phone because of privacy, what do they call that? Yeah, I can't think of what it is right offhand. So that's a new one. I mean,
In which we should recoup that, because it's
yeah, if
costing
you come in,
us.
the city pays, we pay the charges or whatever, but if they call in over the phone, it costs us extra, so.
Right.
But yeah, I certainly can go through and put a yellow highlight on them and send it back out.
Just on the new ones,
Yeah.
that's
On the
what
new
you're
ones.
asking for, Tony?
Yeah, that's just the new ones. The ones that weren't prior, already in a code.
Yep, okay.
All right, then if we get that, we'd be in a
And-
position to vote on the next meeting and take care of it.
So like a return check fee, we're mandated by law how much we can charge for that,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the standard, and, yeah, I don't see any issue with that at all. If you could just highlight those, I think it's great that we're,
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of work gone into it.
yeah. And now on the, just for my own clarification, and I wanna make sure, if we mow somebody's yard, we send them a bill, we charge them that fee. If they don't pay it, then we assess it to their taxes, correct? Okay. So then, and the reason I bring that up is because then we as a city council, I think, past experience has told me that when somebody comes in to buy a property, we're real quick to waive those assessments. So I think we need to hold true to our policy that we're not gonna do that. If somebody's gonna buy a property and there's assessments against it, there's a reason for that, and then we need to not waive those assessments and make that a part of that purchase agreement. Otherwise, why are we doing it?
Any other questions? All right, so we'll take care of that next time, Madonna. We'll just highlight the new ones and then we'll move on. Okay, that's done. All right, 9B, approval of on-off sale licenses. We got Casey's General Store off sale 3.2 liquor, Tracy Lane's 3.2, and Tracy Eagles 3.2.
I move approval of all fines and fees, or all fees have been paid.
I'd second that.
Do you have a question?
Well, I just say a question, isn't the Eagles got a full liquor license? Oh, they have both, okay, okay.
All right, we have a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor of granting the licenses signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9C, loan agreement with Masonic Building demolition, and we have that in our packet. Okay, any questions about that at all, or anything you want to bring up, Madonna?
Nope.
And as an FYI, we did purchase the building next to the Masonic Building, is that true?
Correct.
We get a permit yet?
The state has it though. Everything was signed by the county and the operator and us. And now that we have the building next door, we can get the power removed and the gas lines removed from that building. So I think that took place on Friday.
So we're just waiting for, out at the compost site?
Yep.
Do we expect?
They say
it
about
soon?
10 days. It was sent off early last week. We had all the signatures.
So hopefully maybe this week we can.
I'm hoping by the next council meeting, we should be able to issue a notice to proceed.
Okay.
So everything goes right, so.
I'd make a motion and enter into the loan agreement for the Masonic Building demolition.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We got 9D, accept resignation from Sarah Wilhite from the EDA Library Planning Commission boards.
Make a motion to accept that resignation.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is, and then because of that appointment to the EDA board, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 applications. What we have been doing in the past, and I think now we should continue to do it, is have the respective boards interviewing the people that applied. And then those respective boards will give a recommendation to me as to who to appoint, and then we approve the appointment.
I agree with that.
So the EDA will get the applications for their next meeting, and then the EDA will discuss how they want to go about screening those candidates and then bring the recommendation back for the next council meeting. Is that the?
Yeah, if they can get it done in 2 weeks, that'd be cool.
Okay. So it may or may not happen at the next council meeting, but.
Right.
Okay.
If you can, great, if not.
Okay.
All right, 9E, addressing the pigeon issue in downtown businesses. And we had a lively discussion about that at our working session as to what we intend.
I make a motion that we have our chief of police coordinate with Madonna, our city administrator, to have a fall pigeon shoot and make that happen sometime between now and October.
Have any, will second that?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? We had a lot of different options to talk about in our working session, and, you know.
It's all the same result.
Yeah.
Do you wanna do it prior to Labor Day, so we got rid of some of them in the very downtown?
Yeah, it's a good point, Tony. I'll amend my motion to have it done prior to Boxcar Day weekend. Yeah. And then from there, we can look at having it, other times throughout the year. But, so I would amend my motion that we have the chief of police work with our city administrator to organize a pigeon shoot and have that done prior to Labor Day weekend.
All right, second again.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Next, 9F, change order for Phase 1 infrastructure improvements. Chris, you highlighted at our working session what they are.
Yeah,
The
you want
change-
to hit the high points quick, or?
Go ahead, hit the high points.
Okay.
Especially the part about some of the change orders are saving us money.
Yeah. 3 change orders. A couple of them we were able to eliminate a block of sanitary because of the direction some people are rerouting their private services. There's a spot repair we decided to eliminate because it'll be more cost effectively addressed as part of a Phase 3 project. Adding some clean outs to all the sanitary service stubs, and adding a new manhole and sanitary main stub for a future Phase 3 connection to serve some other areas of town. So 3 change orders. One was a net deduction of $35,000, and then the other 2 were both an increase of approximately $6,000 each. And that's all based on estimated quantities, of course, just like the base contract. These have been also, like I said, I mentioned earlier, reviewed, and rural development concurred on them.
Okay. Any questions for Chris? And we got the resolutions that we'll pass then. Okay? And then we'll just pass the motions and we get to the resolutions. All right, 9G, petition for local agreement of assessments and waiver of irregularity and appeal. We have that on our desk there.
Yeah, Tara prepared a memo and put it on your desk. Originally, hospice informally requested the 75 feet of extension with a cap of 90,000, which was discussed at a previous council meeting. However, the board did not feel comfortable with a cap of 90,000. So in order to reduce costs, the board decided to stick with the 50-foot and cap it at 60,000, hence the reason for the request attached. So you formally approved this request. It's now changed to include what I just outlined.
Okay, anybody have any questions from Don about that?
I'd make a motion to approve the agreement with Sisters.
Second.
Motion made and second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9H, Chris, do you want to talk about phase 3 of the infrastructure project, the wastewater deal?
Well, I think just that we'd like to get a work session
Yep.
scheduled. Generally, opposite Mondays of the council meetings don't work well for me, but
Could we do that on
Otherwise-
our pre-meeting? Could we do that at?
we could, but I mean, it'll be more than a few minutes, I think, so.
Well, I think
Would it be more than an
probably
hour?
what
It could
we
be,
could
I
do, and I
guess.
didn't think about that, probably what we could do, instead of just setting a specific different date, why don't we come in if people can make it like at 5 to start the work session, that would be an hour and a half.
We could try that, and, yeah. Yeah, we'll see how the
Probably
discussion
take more
goes.
than one meeting in order to hammer it all out anyway, based
Yeah.
on the scope of that
Yeah, there'll probably be, you know,
2 or 3.
go back and think about some things, but,
Well,
Yeah, we
let's
could
do
try
that,
that,
I mean, if
first
you can
one.
come here, but the next meeting by 5 o'clock,
so that'd be the 26th.
right?
Yep.
So at our 26th council meeting, we would start at 5 with our pre-meeting, and it would be specifically for the phase 3.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
Let me verify that should work, but.
And then on the subsequent council days, if there's more things we need to work through, then the work meeting, things will start at 5.
Yeah, and I think, I guess we don't have to talk about it now, but I think as long as there's no big things that anybody wants to change after that first meeting, I don't think it hurts to get the thing submitted to rural development, let them at least get it in their queue, and we can always amend it.
Okay.
Is that gonna hurt us, Chris, if we put it into rural development? If there was money for PFA, do we wanna do that?
It should, the PR should,
It should. I was just curious.
yep.
Just wonder the timeline on it as far as funding based on the last we had.
Yeah, well, and really with the last one, there wasn't much issue with the phase 1. It's just that they were tied together for so long.
Right.
We had buy-in from rural development pretty early on about the in-town stuff. It
Right.
was always the treatment, yeah. So, but, and all the more reason just to
I
get
look
it
at long
submitted.
term, you know, they said at that audit that we're pretty heavy debt load for the next 7 to 10 years before we take on any more. I was concerned how
Oh,
that
I
was
see.
gonna affect us, so if you could have some information on that, what you're looking at,
Yeah.
you know. Cause without knowing what we can borrow, or what we can finance, or what we're gonna get in grant or anything, we're not gonna be able to make a good decision as to when we're gonna pull the trigger. And I understand the necessity of getting the PRA into,
Yeah,
to them, but I'm more concerned with the financing at this point, and
No, that's a good point.
I was leaning more towards, now that we know how we're getting it out to the ponds and some streets fixed up there, it'd be nice if we could get some of these side streets that aren't gonna be touched for 7 to 8 years repaired before we go any further, so we don't have any more flying scribes.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's certainly something to talk about, because obviously, we don't want to put too much money into fixing a street, knowing that the sanitary is
Right.
I
on
just
the
don't
hit list.
describe as
Yep.
someone who writes,
So-
like Shakespeare was. Oh. Now I get it.
So 26th at 5.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, next I think we had on there 9I. I was gonna call for a closed session to talk about the EDA contract and have a discussion on that with, the Marshall Chamber. That contract comes up in September, and I think we need to have a discussion about that, whether or not we continue that contract, or other thoughts about that if others have ideas. I don't know, we make a motion for
I
that?
make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Motion made in second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go through the resolutions. We got Resolution 11A, adoption of Lyon County All Hazard Mitigation Plan.
That was presented by Jason.
Yeah, it's been a while back. Yeah, I mean,
Anything we need to know on that, Madonna?
No, not that,
we did it once, but I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2713-33.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Well, it does say on the top, City of Russell.
yeah, but I've seen that too.
Well, we're helping them too.
Well, I just noticed that.
City is Russell, but then down below too, if you don't, it's a multi-jurisdictional
down the
plan,
bottom, yeah.
yeah. And that the city of Tracy supports the hazard mitigation for Lyon County. I'll point that out to him.
I just noticed that.
Yep.
Okay. 11B, the fee schedule will do next meeting. 11C, we got the school zone authorizing speed limit change by St. Mary's School.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11D, resolution approving change order for Phase 1 to decrease by $35,000.
Make a motion.
Seconded.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11E, a resolution approving change order for Phase 1 to increase by $6,000.
Motion to approve that resolution.
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then lastly, resolution approving change order for Phase 2 infrastructure improvement, increase of $6,100.
Motion to approve that resolution.
A second?
Motion made in second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next we got the consent calendar, we got the municipal accounts payable, we got the Relief Association minutes from May 1st, Planning Commission minutes from May 1st, and Library Board minutes from May 4th. Anybody have any questions or comments about the consent calendar?
Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Motion made in second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business, we got utility rate study, and Madonna, you wanted us to look at this again?
Yeah, I really would like you to look at it again. I heard you say it just a little bit ago, the importance of the financials is what's gonna happen, and I'm not saying we can't do it, I just think that, we really, that it's a definite benefit to the taxpayers. I can't dedicate the time to it right now.
Okay. And it was the proposal that we got at the last
It
meeting,
was
right?
a $16,000 unbudgeted item. I think if the department heads put in the numbers, I mean, I'd be willing to tackle some of it to come up with some improvements, but we gotta do something. We've already had some discussions on the 3-tier, we've already had discussions, I think, pick a number, see how it runs, and then when we do our audit again next year, they'll be able to tell us where we're at, and if we need to, we can put it in the budget to do the study the following year, but we need to get an increase, and we need to do it sooner rather than later. We were doing 10 and 15% jumps every 3 to 5 years, and we haven't touched anything for longer than that again now. We agreed, I made the motion, we got the pass to do it annually, and that worked for about 2 years, and it gets swept under the rug because nobody.
That
Keeps up
particular
with it.
council meeting, I do have the minutes printed on my desk, Tony, and it was asked, somebody did make the proposal, I don't know who it was, but somebody did make the proposal for it to be every year, and it never passed.
It never happened. Yeah, because they didn't do that increase. They did it at a 3% instead of the 15%.
They did it for 2 years, 2010, 2011, and then it was supposed to be annually after that,
Right.
and that's what didn't pass. They decided to look at it, and it's supposed to be looked at annually in July of every year.
Every year. Yep.
That's in the city charter that it's supposed to be looked at. And like I said, I just feel that it's so far behind. I mean, yeah, we can put 5 cents to everything, but we're talking about the financial health of the city of Tracy.
I'm not talking about a 5-cent increase either, and I'm not talking, a $16,000 investment in that plan is a 1% increase in the levy. And I think if we get on it and start making progress toward it, we need to do that. That's our job.
So what percent, you're suggesting we do a percent now and then?
Well, you've got two issues you gotta handle. You gotta have it broke down, correct me if I'm wrong, Shane, you gotta have it broke down a 3-tiered system for, and that's,
Water.
yep, that'd be water. So, and then we need to come up with a rate increase, because we haven't increased it. You gotta start from somewhere,
But are we just talking water, sewer?
water, sewer.
Okay.
Because you should be able to sit down and get a fixed cost of what it takes to process enough water to fill the tank, so that you could come up with a number for a cost per unit on water treatment. It's not,
That part's simple.
Yeah.
It's the debt service, and
the debt service is gonna be a little more.
20 years from now, you know, how are we setting ourselves up for the future too?
No, I understand that, but you gotta start somewhere. And I'm not 100% opposed to having those people do it, but if we can start now and get an increase in there, so we got a track record they can look at when they come back next spring and say, yeah, you're on the right track, or no, you're not. You know,
Right.
we're foolish not to do it.
Yeah, the point is why spend $16,000 if we can start trying to do it ourselves and then see where we come out a year from now if we.
Right.
So if we look at a 5%, I'm just throwing.
5, 7, whatever it is, but
5%
the most
increase.
important thing is that 3-tiered. You can get that satisfaction done with the state. And then we need to do a rate increase, there's just no way around it.
Right.
I mean, my thought is that something with this significant, I think if we hear our city administrators say that I wouldn't necessarily have the time to devote to it, that I need help, to me, that speaks volumes. I understand the reluctance because of the price tag, but I think because it's been neglected for so long, that having an outside firm look at it to do it, I think would be a positive. And then that way, if there is an outside firm doing it, people can't claim that, oh, these rates are just arbitrary, you're just picking things out of the air. They say, well, no, we're not picking things out of the air because we're having accountants look at it. They suggested that we do this.
And I agree, Steve. Did they, Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, did they already, this is the accounting firm we're using though,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah.
So don't they already have those numbers? Why do we gotta pay for it?
That's,
Why can't they just give us a number? and
they're
say,
doing
here's-
it based on what it would be as a projection from 20 years now, what we gotta raise every year in order to do that.
No, and I understand that, and I understand the timing thing. I know that you guys are all busy, but my question is, why do we gotta pay them 16 grand? They're already doing the accounting for us anyway. Why can't they just make a recommendation to us? Here's what we think you need to increase your fee schedule by, and then let's see
we'll
what
check it
happens
next
with
year,
it.
yeah.
Check it next year. Why do we gotta pay them another 16 grand to do what they've already got the numbers, unless I'm thinking of this wrong, but they should already
They
have the
debt
numbers.
service number,
Yeah.
Bill, but what they don't have is they don't have, I mean, they don't, as our auditing firm, they're auditing the financials that we provide them. That is what their job is.
Sure.
So they don't have the information like we charge such and such a rate for this and that and so on and so forth to be able to project the revenue that's created. We provided them with what our revenue is going to be each year. So that's what it would be a study to see, okay, if you charge this rate, is it going to be enough to pay your debt, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
And that's why I said we need to set a rate, increase it, get her 3-tiered something so they got some valid numbers to work with. Instead of basing a projection off, you're at A, you need to be at Z, so we're gonna jump you up to X right now, and instead of walking it up, it's gonna be jumped up.
I feel your concern, I do. I just want to point out that I do feel a little animosity from this, and the reason why I say that is because we pay somebody else to change our oil in our vehicles. And that literally means nothing to me compared to a rate study that is going to be on our financials for the future health of the financials of the city of Tracy.
Well, I understand what your point is. I mean, in having concerns about raising the overall levy by 1%, figuring, I mean, those, they're legit concerns. So what I would suggest is, I understand what you're saying, but I feel that we do need an outside firm to do it. so people don't view what we're doing as arbitrary. What I suggest, Madonna, is if you can visit with them again to see if there's another number they can come up with. If we provide them with certain things, maybe that takes out some of the legwork that they have to do.
I did put in there, though, that if you, I'm pretty sure I put in there, if I didn't, I'm sorry, but I also did put in there that they did offer to let us pay for this in segments, so that it isn't a 1% levy increase automatically next year. They're willing to work with us about this.
Well, we'll see if they can lower it a little bit, and if the answer is no, we can't, then they say, well, no, they said no, but they're willing to pay in installments. But I do see the benefits of having an outside firm do this, I do.
Okay. So
Another question you could ask them, based on what they, because they've been doing our audit now for this the fourth year, fifth year, something like that. They should have a track record based on past history of what those two funds are doing.
and they have told you that every year.
Right,
Yeah.
so they have that data now. Ask them what they would, what's a good target increase on our charges here, and compare it to what we come up with, and then set it up, and we'll have them come in and look at it after we apply their advice on the first one.
And that's our job. That's our job to do that, and that's why I'm asking to eliminate me from doing that job and asking them to do it for you. It's all right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, just ask, and then if the answer is no, we're not changing anything, we'll just vote on it.
Yep, okay.
Okay?
So we're gonna push it up to the next meeting.
Yep. Okay, 13B, public comment question from the last meeting regarding adding a public comment to subcommittee agendas.
The EDA has done that already.
So basically the answer is if,
Yes, I have a question from Rosemary Martin. Could the public comment be included on subcommittee meeting agendas? I responded that Diane has asked the EDA and the library boards to include the public comment section, and she has added the public comment section to the agendas that she prepares.
that is a good suggestion.
Yep.
Okay, 13C, the Charter Commission and the size and the appointments, and we got the legal opinion as to what we need to do with that. So we have to fill it up to 9.
Yep.
And that leaves us, what, 2 spots? Am I correct?
Yes.
So what we're doing now, like I said, we're gonna refer the applications back to the Charter Commission that's now, and they will interview the people that still want to be on the Charter Commission and make a recommendation to me. And then, based on my appointment, the council can affirm or...
Steve, I don't think the Charter Commission can
They
meet
can't
yet,
meet.
so that's going to have to be somebody from here to interview him.
I thought they could meet if they had a certain amount on there.
No.
No, they have to have 9.
Okay. Well, it looks like Steve will interview him. Okay, anybody else want to join in on there? Oops. All right. I'll just...
I'm okay with any of them, Steve. You.
No, I understand that. I mean, just to be fair with everybody, instead of just saying, yeah. Madonna, if you can just contact them and just figure out what a day works, and I'll meet with them.
Sure. Okay.
Figure it out. Okay. 13D, school zone signs by St. Mary's.
We already
did that.
did that
We
one.
did do that. 13E, the liquor stores, the surplus items that we found at the store. Bill, you wanted an update?
Well,
on
yeah,
that?
I should ask that at the pre-meeting, but do we decide what to do with any of that yet, or?
I've not been provided with the list that you asked.
Okay. But you did request it?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we could just get that on the next meeting
I
and,
think she's been out for a week with a medical issue.
I mean, you know, that, again, that's not a big deal, but let's just get rid of it. Let's
Oh,
put a
yeah.
price tag on it. Let's just get it out. It's just an issue that we don't need to be dealing with. Let's just get rid of it and get whatever dollars we get out of it and move on.
Okay. All right, next, 14A is the hangar. rental. And we have a memo from Madonna on that.
Yes, I just, put a memo together telling you that, you guys had approved last time to decrease the hangar rent for Mr. Rydell.
Yep.
For the period of June 1st, 2017 through May 31st, 2017, which he has come in and paid. And then he also came in and presented another check for, the period of January through March 2017, so it would have been the quarter before that. Presented the check for the reduced rate, and I don't feel comfortable doing it without council approval.
Okay. Oh, accepting the second payment, you mean?
Accepting payment for another period that you guys hadn't addressed. For a prior quarter.
Oh. Yeah, I see where, I was under the understanding that night that it was gonna be that way until he found another place or he could make it usable out there, so I thought it was.
1 year.
Yeah,
1 year
somebody
starting
made the
June 1st,
proposal
I
for
believe.
1 year, starting on June 1st, 2017 until May 31st, 2017. And he was well aware of that, and he actually told me that.
But he just reduced the first quarter of this year.
Yeah, then we had billed him on 3/25, and what was the last council meeting you guys had? The second and fourth, 22nd of May, the 22nd of May, after he had already, been billed, for 2 months or whatever, then he presented a check for the reduced rate for that quarter as well.
Do you want a motion on that, or?
Yes, I would, because that's, I guess, your decision.
I was under the understanding it was gonna be from January to June, but I could be wrong. But it's, what you're saying is it went from June 2017 to May 2018?
Yes, I'm sorry. May 31st, 2018, I put 17, didn't I?
But if he got moved or got a different hangar, go back to the other rate. Yeah,
So he came in and presented a check for me for the period before what you guys approved.
Right.
And just,
yeah, I thought we were doing January to following it, but I don't know. I'd make a motion to, I mean, he still can't use it whenever he wanted to, so I'd make a motion to accept that check he gave you as payment for January to June of 2016.
June or May of 18.
January 1st through May 31st,
31st of
2017.
17. There you go.
No, of 17.
The first half is
So the first half, we're talking already two.
They're already passed,
Okay,
yeah.
I'd second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries.
So now what is it for through, now May's already passed, so May through,
Yeah, June
June
1st
to May
through May
18th.
31st is still going to be the,
this the one we already had. So you
Whatever
don't, you don't
the-
need
yeah.
anything on that?
no, the
All
only
right.
reason I did is because,
Yep.
easy example, I mean, we just don't accept what people come in and give us. That's a decision for you
Right.
to make.
Yep, no problem. Just want to make clear. So we're good through 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. 14B, Dave, you wanted to talk about the hangar out there at the airport?
Sure did. Dave Olligar, 205 3rd Street East. Been a member, here as a resident of Tracy since 1968. I helped with the AWAS GPS and I put all the money for that, went out and got all the money for that bomber on 71st anniversary of Boxcar Day. This is the second time I've been here for about a hangar. I walked away the first time. Friday before the Memorial Day, I came in to the office and asked for a hangar. Madonna was gone. Krista said, well, I think we're all full. So I called Shane, and he says, I asked him if we could rent use the big hangar. I told you last year, no. I called to see if we could write a letter to see the person be moved in number 4. Madonna said no. I got a letter from Madonna. I think most of you have seen that letter. Last Friday I found out that number 4 is being used for storage. Also, we requested a commission for the Hummer to be removed from number 4. I think if you're going to vacate someone from another hangar, I think the city should follow the suit. I have 2 options. I'd like to know if you clean out number 5 tomorrow, or let me in the new hangar in the big hangar till we resolve for the number 4. I'd like to know if there's a response to that. See if we can get it resolved tonight. Also, on the upside, MnDOT has a program called Force Account, where small cities like us, if they do the work, they get paid for material. I'm using like the blacktop for behind on the west hand side. If we did all the work, they'll pay 100% of that, and just like tending the hangar.
100% of the materials?
100% labor and material.
What's it called? Force what?
Forced account. Called Cassandra. And also like to say, put in your budget for someone to go to that symposium every year for the state of MnDOT and the FAA. And I think we should look at our rates for our fuel. I'd like to have a motion on that hangar thing tonight, please.
So Dave, if I'm understanding this correctly, you've purchased an airplane.
I purchased, and my intent is to do rental instruction with, and I have an instructor lined up for it.
Yep. And your intent is to bring a new business into town.
Correct.
With flight instruction.
And rental.
What you really need is a place to keep your airplane.
Because it's got a wide hangar, wide tail, because it doesn't fit in all the other ones.
And so that's what you're asking for now. Has this gone before the airport commission? Has the airport commission looked at any of this? And
no, it hasn't.
I know Kurt's here. I think you're a member of the airport commission. Kurt?
We haven't met to discuss it yet.
Okay.
Kurt, you're not a member.
Pardon me?
You're not a member.
I am.
Of the airport commission? Oh, I thought he was.
Okay. Well, anyway, I dropped off the application, so.
You dropped it off, but
Well,
somebody else had, been appointed in between there.
well, either way, that's fine.
That's only a 2-person board? Who's the third?
Dave?
I am.
Homer?
Neil.
And
Homer's
Neil.
off.
Neil got one.
Yeah, no, Neil, but Homer's still, I thought Homer got off.
He was off.
I doubt if Homer's on anymore.
Yeah, I think Homer got off.
Homer's
I can't
off.
tell you who was
I didn't
on.
know.
Well, irregardless,
I
no,
too, but let's go on.
no, irregardless, it's fine. But my question is you bought an airplane and you want to bring a business to town.
Correct.
So I think we need to do whatever we can do to make.
And the hangar I'm renting is going to be out tomorrow. So
It's going to be what?
I have to move my airplane out of the hangar when I got tomorrow.
Because it's,
Well, they have it rented for somebody else.
okay. So do we have a hangar available?
Yes, we do. In number 4, if you move the stuff out and put it in number 5.
In my defense,
Well, no, don't get
I just want to say, in my defense,
Yep.
number 4 is rented to somebody. I cannot just get rid of that person to bring Dave in there, okay?
And I don't know that, that's why I'm asking. I don't want anybody
that's
to
what
get
I'm saying.
defensive here
No, I
about
don't-
anything.
No, I just said
I'm just trying to get
Okay.
information here, yeah.
The secondary thing is that's hangar number 4, okay? So
Okay.
that's already rented. So when I told Dave no, Dave asked 2 things. He wanted number 4 and he wanted the big hangar. The big hangar is already rented to 2 different people, okay? And
And can
there,
that only hold 2 planes,
No,
or?
it can
Yes.
hold more than that, Bill.
there is not room for a third plane. I spoke to both of the tenants that are in that big hangar. One of them has a lower wingspan and the other one has a higher wingspan. And that means that they can go in and out without somebody having to physically be there to move an airport in order, or an airplane, to be able to get one or the other out.
And the only reason I asked that, Mr. Mayor, is because I was out there, last weekend or whenever it was when they had the fly-in, and there was only one airplane in that hangar, and I was told, and I don't know, I was told there's only been one airplane in there for quite some time. It might be rented by 2, but there was only one plane in there, so
Well, 2 people are paying for it and have been paying for it since 2007.
yeah, no, and I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying, I want to figure out a way we can find
Are
room
both of
for.
them physically in the hangar today?
No,
No,
Will both of them be physically in the hangar a
in
month?
30 days?
yes.
When? Tomorrow or?
The only one that's not in there is my father's, and it's getting its annual certification. And because of the weather lately and the wind and
He's not
timing,
able to get
they
it
haven't
back.
been able to get it back.
No, I
That is the
understand
only
that.
reason.
And I I don't care, I don't know who the owners are, I don't care. I'm just asking, has anybody looked, and I'm not an expert on this, but is it physically possible to put 3 airplanes
Yes,
of whatever size in that hangar? I don't know that. So who would be an expert to
We've got
do that?
One airport commission member that says no, 2 that say yes, correct?
Ain't gonna fit.
Okay. And the secondary thing, the question about number 5, I did speak to Jason last Friday about getting the Humvee and the contents out of that, and have offered number 5 to Mr. Auger.
Heck, it won't fit. Kurt can contest to that.
Right, it has to be on.
It has to be on an end hanger or
5
else
is an end hanger.
Yep.
it won't.
End hanger?
It
Five
won't.
is an
That's on
end
the.
I understand
west
that,
side
but
of
it
the
doesn't
boat.
have the size for the tail.
We're getting conflicting information from different people.
Well,
That's what it sounds like to me too, yeah.
to,
Our department head is Shane, who knows?
to simplify things, can he leave it in the big hangar until
That's what it's
Neil
gonna
gets his
ask.
airplane back?
He could
Possible.
make some kind of arrangement with Neil himself.
Well,
Neil has it rented.
Well, I mean, I
no,
think.
but we could charge him rent for
willing
it
to
too.
pay
I
for
mean,
it.
what,
I think the in-between time is if,
That gives us a chance
if it isn't going to be filled like in a day or 2, until we figure out, I mean, that's the reason that we have commissions, is let them figure out and tell us what the recommendation is as to what can be rented and
Well,
what.
it sounds to me like,
So-
first of all, we need to figure out who's on the commission.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused on who's on the commission and who's not.
Well, that was
Who's on
my,
the commission?
So, and just so I understand, Madonna, you said number 4, that they get, that hangar number 4.
Number 4 is rented.
Okay, is this a rental that actually has a plane in it or junk?
junk.
Junk.
Okay.
But
Is
you
that the
told us
neighbors
earlier
we're talking
tonight
about?
that takes 3 months.
If
to
I-
evict them.
if I can talk to him and get him convinced to swap
That's what I'm asking.
It's
5,
still being used for
yeah,
other than
but if
aeronautical
you
use.
get it out
But so
one
are
door,
we.
you may not
We're-
have to go in the other door, is what I'm saying.
But we're also using
Mhm.
the hangar. for-
Well, it's just really-
So let's
really
not
it's-
point our finger at those people if they're not doing that. if
Yeah,
we
it's
are
just a
ourselves.
Humvee, and I talked to Jason. We're gonna get that out of there tomorrow.
Okay.
And the other thing that's in there is actually for aeronautical use, because it's a ladder that we decided not to put on the fuel system out at the airport. So technically, that is an aeronautical use. We'd be willing to move it if someone wants to move in the hangar, but for now, why have it outside so kids can get hurt?
Is there room for it in the big hangar?
Well, if you can talk to the number
I'll talk
4.
to the number 4, I'll try to get a hold of him.
Okay, so let's clear the air. So we were given incorrect information. Kurt is on the airport commission, Dave is on the airport commission, and Neil Daniels is on the airport commission.
And Homer is not.
Homer is not, those 3 are. So I say let's get it resolved.
The airport commission decide
what you're gonna do, let's get, we don't wanna turn any business away,
It happened last time.
Well, Dave, we don't want it to happen again,
I
so.
understand it, because
We got that issue resolved, is who's on the airport commission. So my suggestion is we have the airport commission figure this thing out, and whether or not, and Shane, I appreciate what you're saying, that's great, but have the airport commission decide if that rental property is correct to be having something stored in there that's not an airplane, and bring it back to the council. Again, that's what we have these commissions for. I don't think the council should be making these decisions. Let's have the people that are the professionals that fly airplanes, that know what's going on, make those decisions and bring them back to us. We gotta be able to figure this out. I mean, we got somebody that wants to bring another plane, another tail number into town, and a business into town.
and funding,
Let's try to work it out.
Is that the only hangar that'll work?
or in the big one.
Okay.
And that's what I've said.
I
I
just didn't know
offered
that-
Dave what I could offer him. That was not rented. So I did not offer him, and I did
Nope,
not.
I just didn't know if there was
We're
any other
not,
ones that would
we're
work.
not suggesting
So
that
you
at
still
all.
wanna visit with
So
the other?
I'm gonna, because that problem's gotta go away no matter what, but if it's possible for Neil to get a hold of Dave when he's bringing it back, so he can leave it in the big hangar until,
The only problem is we have another one on the waiting list. No, as of today. So we actually have 2 airplanes that need to go
well,
in.
good, that's a good problem to have.
It is.
I'll get on the phone early tomorrow. But,
Well, then that's even more reason for the airport
And,
commission to figure out what to do.
and the
with
other
what they
one
got.
needs, it can fit in the regular T hangars, or has it gotta have a bigger space also?
I don't know, did he say what
No.
he had?
Yeah, you told me what kind. Cherokee 6, maybe?
Yeah, it's a big tail.
Another big tail number, so yeah, you're running out of big tail space. You guys got a problem out there that's a good problem to have.
I know it is, but what you're saying now is in the interim, they can use that big.
Well, I personally don't see a problem with that, but that's, if you can get
It's
a
not up
heads
to the
up.
city. It's up to the
We have
hangar
a
renter.
rental contract with these guys. I think he
Gotta
needs
talk to
permission from
Neil.
the guys.
I mean, it's the same as kicking someone out of a 3-bedroom apartment because they only use 2.
No, I get that,
mean,
to say, I understand that, I mean,
we're saying,
I mean, it's pretty
come
trivial.
on.
But
Let's work it out here. Let's try and work, I mean, the airport commission, let's get together, let's work it out.
The airport commission can. I just want to remind you guys, you have said multiple times yourself that you will support the decisions that your department heads made. Have you?
That our commissions make.
No, you said your department heads as well.
So you're saying that the airport commission shouldn't have anything to
No,
say
I'm
with
saying the
this?
airport commission can do this. I'm just reminding you that you've had 2 of your department heads that made the decision, that tried to work this thing
But there
out.
also could be a conflict of interest.
There
here,
isn't
too.
with me.
No, I know there isn't with you.
There isn't with me, and I sat down and talked to Mr. Auger about this and offered more than one. The problem was is he didn't want the ones I offered.
Because of the tail.
It's a size thing, and that's not, again, nothing against anybody. We need to get it worked
We need to
out.
just get it
Well,
worked out.
since you have the 3-people committee, you can convene a meeting pretty quick.
Yeah, well, yeah. What if is Neil around? Is he on the road?
I don't know the schedule. We have to notify him.
Okay?
So, that's their one.
Well, give him a call, see if you can't work it out till he gets back. Monetarily, that's between you two, or, yeah, I'd encourage it to come to some agreement on that.
I think the council just wants you guys to, we want the airport commission to come back to us with a recommendation on what you're going to do.
And I want the airplanes out there.
And with that being said, I do know that the other party is going to leave if we allow that large hangar to go to a 3-plane thing.
Well,
Doesn't make any
Well,
difference, I'm
that's
just
I know,
telling you.
that's the airport commission's
That's
problem.
I'm
that's
just
their
telling you.
prerogative. Yeah.
I always thought the first one wanted to, in line, I understand that, Now he's getting preference for what you're saying.
Well,
I'll
Yeah, we'll just convene your meeting and see what we got, all right? Okay. Let's see, I make a.
So I just want to make sure that, so the airport commission is going to meet and then come back to the council with
With a resolution.
with a resolution at the next meeting. correct?
In the meantime, he doesn't have space here,
Well,
unless you can work it
Try and
out.
work it out.
Work
with
it
the-
out.
Right.
Or if we can work it out with the other one that's got.
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
So the one that has junk in it is a large hangar?
that's a large tail section.
Yeah.
More room for the.
I think it would help for, especially for folks that haven't been around airplanes and air hangars and sizes, and you tell me a Cherokee, I know what you're talking about, and I know T hangars. But if you could come up with a drawing with some measurements so they know what's, so they're all informed. I mean, you could probably put 4 airplanes in that big hangar, but you're gonna need 3 people to move each one so you don't get
Hanger rack.
hangar rash. I mean, and that's, I understand, that's a heck of an investment.
That's an actual term.
It is.
It is.
I know, it is.
So it's, and it doesn't take much to
I'm just
damage
gonna give you
one.
an example. Bill Miller had a twin in his big, large sprayer in that hangar. So I think, like Tony says, you could fit, but everybody had to move around.
It's an inconvenience, but it's, you know, it's something that we need to work on. But that's your guys' problem.
Well, we'll meet at the meeting and discuss it all.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and, or, sorry, Mayor and Council Communications, anybody have anything that they want to bring up?
I'd like to mention again, yesterday morning, the law enforcement being out there at our intermittent swimming pond on Roland and Morgan, keeping traffic from going through there. I think they did a great job.
I would echo those comments.
Anything else? Okay, do we have a motion then to close our meeting, discuss the EDA contract we have with the Marshall Chamber?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion made in second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Meeting closed.
You?
I hope I didn't offend you, Seth. But I figured that might make a good testimony that we need to get that stuff fixed.
I don't know if you guys see my memo on that or not, Bill, but I did go back and that's the whole history.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yep. No,